Ramsey cleared a third, Ren Lodge fourth.
Perfect mix of poetry and destruction. This glory of rhythm, power and majesty. The undisputed champion of the world, Frankel, wins the Juddmonte International. The Stars comes alongside Master Craftsman, eyeballs him and goes on, and it's 4 Group 1s.
And a massive warm welcome to the Bar Stewards Inquiry York Ebor Meeting Preview podcast. Tonight, we've got John Leng from John Joe's Blogspot, as always, and my main form man, Andy Richmond. Welcome, chaps. An exciting show ahead.
Evening, Lee. Can't wait.
Yes, I hope you both got plenty for us. I've got Catherine's bets here. Catherine's not on the show this evening. She's on the show on Friday, but she's got 3 cracking bets for you this week, so please hold on for that. We've even got the Ginger Hitler chipping in with some info, and he's got an absolute belter of a nap, he says, for Saturday. So Ginger Hitler's on board. Richmond, Leng, Keys, what more do you want for a Bar Stewards Bumper York podcast? Right. I mean, we're attending this week. Me, John, and Andy are going to be there Thursday. Wednesday, we've got the big Bar Stewards picnic in the middle.
Complete with pork pie.
Absolutely. There's 2 lots of pork pie there. There's the Stilton top and the normal. There's no egg in the middle, as Andy was we were discussing off air. We don't want egg in pork pie. That's no good. Got to be jelly around the outside, everything. That's a proper pork pie. So yes, we're going to be loading it up on the Wednesday. We're going to be having a gathering on the Thursday in the main stands. So please feel free if you're at York and you fancy a drink and a chat, just don't hesitate to get in touch, and we'll be hanging around somewhere. So start this podcast off with a bit of chit chat about York. And what's this, John, about? I've never heard of this. You mentioned this to me the other day. You said Bob Ogden's party. What's all this?
Bob Ogden always has a party on Ebor Week.
Yeah.
It's quite good, really, listening to all the hyperloy and racing, making up various excuses not to go. From what I can gather, it's usually rather a good do.
Yeah.
Well, as you'd expect from Bob. You know?
How many scantily clad ladies attend these sort of do's? I mean, knowing Bob, I've seen him when he turns up. He turned up one year in the middle at York, and I think
it was his niece.
Yeah, was that his niece? Was that his niece or his missus?
You have 60 nieces.
Yeah. You've even thrown me off there. I was actually. There was one he turned. It was like she looked like Anna Kournikova.
He was a pebble, our Bob, honestly.
He must have some Duracell there. It's,
From what I can gather, he's not on the Pele pills or anything like that. So, obviously, John, going back in past, I think you sort of mentioned before about people that have refused invites to this. There was one year me and Peter Reynolds were going over at Mel Britton's on the morning of, I think it was the Wednesday morning when it was a 3-day fixture. And Peter said to me, he said, "Oh Christ," he said, "it's Bob Ogden's party tonight." Can you think of anything I can say? Well, I can't go. I said, "I'll get yourself there. You'll enjoy it. It'll be good."
I know. Those normal folk are thinking this sounds quite good, and everyone else not wanting to go to Bob Ogden's big do. Have you heard any funny stories of gym crack dinners, things like that?
Gym crack dinners. Wow. I think Julian Wilson made a pretty good speech one year when his house won the gym crack.
Yeah.
I think there was about 5 or 6 people who didn't speak to him for about 3 years after that.
Yeah, I mean, Julian Wilson, as we know, I mean, a tremendous broadcaster, but I mean, what an absolute day after, what an absolute, varmint he was for basically nicking prices. I mean, what was that story you had for me on the Gallops at Newmarket when?
When your Nate did a piece of work, honest to God, I mean, she just produced a barnstorming piece of work, and we weren't even off the Gallops, and Whizlon was on. Parks and 33s was a distant memory, I mean, we got to 25s and down. The sheer speed of hand, I mean, it made Paul Daniels look like Sooty.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing for me when he wrote to the Racing Post that time. I mean that was probably the best thing I've ever seen written.
Trying stopping one.
Yeah. He said, well, don't punters, they can't. If block them, we'll have to block them if you take my prices. I mean, it was tremendous to read that. I mean, we know it's a done thing, but geez, just funny times. But yeah, back onto York. This week, the clerk of the course walked it today and gave or the assistant or whatever, Darby was doing the talking on the racing TV in the Wayne Room restaurant. But the consensus seems to be at the track that it's genuinely good ground. Well, I've got my doubts, because the reason I've got my doubts is because you've got your Turf Tracks data, your Going Stick archives, and looking at it was 6.5 at 6:10 a.m. Well, I was up at 6:10 a.m. and it was still raining. So for me, I'm saying that I cannot see it being genuinely on top good ground. I think it's going to be just slightly on the ease of good, because similar to July the 10th. July the 10th was given as 6.5 and they were running 2 to 4 seconds slower for the sort of handicaps, the lesser races, and the good races like your Winter Powers, they were getting close to standard. So I think that's going to be a similar scenario tomorrow. It's if you want genuinely lively, fast ground horses, they're not going to get it. I think it's going to be pretty fair. I don't think soft ground horses are going to excel. I don't think fast ground horses are going to excel. That particularly want that sort of ground tomorrow. But nevertheless, I don't think it's bad and disadvantageous to anything you fancy. So at least we're starting not on slop, if you like, gents. I mean, it's the draw wise tomorrow. I would say on the straight course, it could potentially play into the hands of the high drawn. As we saw at the last meeting, the low draws tended to struggle a bit, and there is a west to west northwesterly wind tomorrow, and it's quite brisk. It'll blow on the Barstewards Picnic from the west towards the stands. So we might even need a windbreak tomorrow. I mean,
take our shagging shirts off and make a windbreak out of them.
So I'm thinking with that west northwesterly tomorrow, and if it is west northwest, that's going to be slightly in the faces of the ones drawn low. I reckon if you get cover mid pack or towards the stands rail, I reckon that's the place to be, because you're getting a lot of cover. So that in the straight races, I think that could play its part. So it'd be interesting to see how it pans out. But I do think if we get dry weather the rest of the week, it could quicken up, and hopefully Derby doesn't get the watering can out at any point and decides to ruin what could be a fantastic spectacle. Andy, how many meetings have you been to a York over time? Are you a York regular, would you say?
Well, certainly since I wouldn't say a regular, but since I've lived up here, which is near 11 years in the northwest, plenty, and obviously did some of the RTV work, well, RUK as it was then, work from there. So I have worked there as well. Fair few, and used to come up from down south when was there. I mean, I can go back as far as remembering when the Ebor Festival, I don't think it was even called that then, it was just called the Ebor Meeting, wasn't it? Was 3 days. And the Ebor was on the Wednesday, So I certainly went there then. I've got some very good friends who I will probably be meeting up with on Thursday as well, apart from you two old reprobates, who are members there. So, yeah, had a few runners there as well in time when I owned a few bits of horses. Yeah, it's always been one of my favourite flat courses. Usually trying to unravel impenetrable handicaps, but there's a certain there's always sort of a certain feel-good factor when you've managed to unravel that. You know you shouldn't get involved, but you do, don't you?
Yeah.
You look at them and think, I shouldn't get involved in this, and then one or two start creeping in, and you start thinking, well, I'll have a look at that, and I'll have a look at that, and then before you know it, you're involved. And as I say, the draw there it is quite strange on the straight course. It used to avoid high numbers like the plague there, but they seem to have been a bit more omnipresent of late. The one draw I never like on the straight course is stall 1.
Yeah.
Horribly isolated sometimes. And there are some strange draw stats on the round course as well, where you think you're drawn quite well. It's a bit like Thirsk, where I've heard on many occasions, the inside draw's good. It's absolute bullshit, because you want to be drawn around the outside and come down the centre of the course. And sometimes that happens at York as well. You think low, I mean, on the inside, I've got something that traps quite well, and it's not the place to be. And it'd be interesting to see where they race. It's sometimes a bit of a movable feast there, and something you've got to keep an eye on. But there is it's the one thing. The bottom line is this week, it's great to see a crowd back, isn't it?
For sure. I mean, that's the one thing I'm looking forward to, really.
Yeah.
Apart from the food and the gin, but I mean, he's definitely one thing I'm looking forward to. I'm not looking. By the way, we have Greg's sausage rolls as well tomorrow, John, because we made a thing about this on a pod earlier where John, doesn't like. Well, he loves sausage rolls, and he's disappointed when he gets to a track and he has to pay $5 for a sausage roll, John.
It's a bit obscene, isn't it? So, I must admit, I prefer Copeland's sausage rolls to Greg's. But Greg's,
well, you tell me now. I mean, yeah.
I should have to bring you over Greenhalge's sausage roll. They are the sausage roll of choice around these parts. Very nice.
The daddies. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, but again, a fantastic meeting to kick us off. We've got the Judamont on Wednesday, and it's disappointing about St Mark's Basilica. People sort of like querying, has it had an injury or has it just ran flat in a gallop? Well, no one will ever know other than the lads, John.
Absolutely, and we'll get a rough idea whether the lads are fancying love or not, won't we? Because the market close will be there.
Yeah,
I mean the O'Brien runners worry me at the minute. His stats are horrendous, and I really do. I know people say, look at how many Group 1s he's won, etc. Yeah, I get this, I get it, but the bread and butter is just not happening at all. Now, I know, John, you're not as concerned from sort of like past convos about O'Brien. His horse is turning up in good fettle this week, but I notice also a downturn in his winners at York over the last few years. It's not what it used to be. Again, I've no idea why. Is it because Galileo lost his manhood and probably should have gone to Bob Ogden for some some fertility advice or something. But I mean, you just wonder about that. You just wonder whether that's had an impact, because in recent times at York, he's just not, I mean, there's been some great winners from the yard turning up at York, but I'm not so sure when I look at his runners this year. I'm thinking, in the Voltiger, am I thinking any of these are any, fantastic comp?
Not somebody I tend to back at York, to be honest. I mean, a lot of his horses that come to York tend to be very much established by the time that they get to York.
Yeah, like superstars.
You look at 2 to 5s, like with Snowfall, for example, in the Yorkshire Oaks. I mean,
yeah.
that would be classed as a wonderful winner for most people, winning the Yorkshire Oaks. You know, if they were offered that at the start of the meeting, that's how you can come away with, they'd snap your hand off.
Yeah.
O'Brien, it's just like, oh, well, he's won the Yorkshire Oaks, so what, you know, wallpaper result, isn't it? But, so I find my path doesn't cross Aiden's very often at this meeting in particular.
No, it's like you say, the ones that tend to be the headline makers are the big racers, the already established superstars of the past. You know, like there's been so many of them, but I just think I'm barring Snowfall in the Yorkshire Oaks, getting a bit of a bread and butter feel for some of the runners that are running, but I could be wrong. But that's just how I saw it on the whole. Yeah, that's right. So, if we're ready, chaps, we should probably get on with the other part of the show now, which is hopefully the blue button and not the pink button, and we can have the success that we enjoyed in the Shergar. We could certainly, John's terrific tipping. I think you did well, Andy. I think we all did well. That weekend, we did all right on Saturday, and let's hope we can do the same for punters this week, because it's certainly a meeting that I lay myself out for, so to speak, and I really enjoy having a good York because it kicks you on for that autumn campaign if you can do well out of the week that ensues. Right, we're going to do the show as in like we did at Goodwood, where we've got our 3 best bets of the meeting. So, you know, it kind of works because then you know what we like the very best, going 3, 2, 1. And I'll start, obviously Catherine's not on the show, so I'll start with Catherine's 3rd best bet of the week. And it goes on Wednesday in the 4:10 race. That's the Sky Bet handicap over 2 miles. And Catherine Fry, his 3rd best bet of the week, is Island Brave, trained by Heather Main, ridden by Oisin, available at 16 to 1. Certainly been in good recent form. 4th in the Northumberland Plate. 4th to John's big winner in the Shergar Cup meeting, Just Hubert, as well. So ran really well. So Island Brave, consistent sort, is Catherine's 3rd best bet of the week there in the Stain handicap. So thank you, Catherine, for that. Andy, I'll come to you for your 3rd best bet of the week, first of all.
They're all gonna be on Saturday, so
Fantastic.
I'm leaving it. I'm gonna have a treble on these as well.
We like this.
Migration is the 3rd best bet of the week. I think this horse can win a Cambridgeshire, to be quite honest with you. He's gone up £8 from Goodwood. I'm pleased to see they're running it in this is a 10 furlong handicap, the 4:45. I was really impressed with him at Goodwood. I thought he ran really well there. It could have been in an awful lot of trouble at one time. They've already booked Will Buick to ride. It's quite interesting that they could have run him off his old mark with a £6 penalty on Thursday, and they've taken the £8 rise to run him over 10 furlongs here. It looked like he needed all of that 10 furlong mile at Goodwood last time out. I thought he quickened up really. I like a horse with a turn of foot, and he showed a real turn of foot. I think you can ride him any way you like, and he would be my 3rd best bet of the week, Migration. But I'd like to see him in the Cambridgeshire at the end of the year as well.
Yeah, I mean, certainly a horse that enjoys a little bit of digging the ground. Well, doesn't need it because it's effective. It's effective on.
That sort of swayed me towards that way. There's 2 weather forecasts doing them as they usually are, doing the rounds for Saturday. We could get some, or we might not, and that's why I thought, well, I'll include him as one of the better bets of the week because it won't really matter because I think he'll handle it. And I do like Mr. Manoussier as a trainer. I do think he's very, very good.
Outstanding trainer. Really is an outstanding trainer. He's probably, if he had the ammunition of the top guys, I'm pretty certain he'd be a top trainer. He'd be one of the top trainers in the game.
Punches weight, I think, is my usual term for him.
Yeah. So that's David Menusier. Migration is Andy's the best bet. Obviously, sadly, we've got no Walls Icers on that, but that's the way it is at the moment. So Migration for Andy's his third best bet. That's 4:45 York on Saturday. That's a 10 furlong Sky Bet handicap. John, your third best bet of the week.
I'm just thinking, with 2 selections in 28 races, and we've got a bloody crossover already.
This happened last time.
Yeah, my third best is Fishable in the Migration race, I'm afraid.
Okay.
That's the forecast sorted then.
Yeah. I mean, he's not been lucky here at all. He should have won at the Dante meet in Thick Dave jumped him off about 5 lengths behind the rest of the field, and then assumed he was going to get a nice same up the inside when about 15 horses were looking for the same up the inside, and he did well to finish where he did, to be honest. Then he got a shit draw in the Magnet Cup. Still ran a really impressive race, I thought, and I think Tim's kept him nice and quiet for this, and I'm expecting a big run from this at what could be a nice price. I think he'll get overlooked in the betting, to be honest, and I think there's quite a few horses in this that look as though they might be warm orders betting wise, and I think this one could get overlooked. So Fishable's my third best.
Do you know what? I think I've looked at a few of Thick Dave's mounts this week. I think Thick Dave could be in for a good week. I mean, especially now you've put that up. That kind of boosts me confidence for Thick Dave having a great week, because I think there's a couple of others that he rides this week that's got decent chances.
Market, I think Thick Dave's worth a look.
Well, especially, I mean, that's the thing. I asked for a jockey's market on Twitter today, and nobody came back. Useless.
I couldn't find one anywhere.
I find that annoying, because if it's Ascot, there's always a jockey market. If
Cheltenham, always one.
Yeah.
Aintree, generally one.
Yeah.
You think it was some enterprising firm like Sky Bet, who seemed to be sponsoring every bit of this meeting. You think they'd stick one up?
Yeah, because I was really interested in Will Buick. I mean, I think Will Buick is going to ride a shed full of winners this week. And I just think, I think I'd probably take a fairly short price. So I mean, if any listeners sees it first, let me know. Give us a tweet, and we might be able to do something about it. But yeah, Will Buick, I felt was a bit of a shoe-in for the top jock this week.
Jeff will price it up. Fan of the show?
Well, yeah. Jeff Banks responded. Thanks to Jeff Banks for responding the other day. It was nice to get feedback from someone that we sort of mentioned on the show. Bit critical of him, but he responded to the criticism and he kind of agreed. But yeah, I mean, that's nothing. We'll probably try and get Jeff on the show at some point. I'm sure he'll do it for a bit for a laugh, make a good Sunday sermon, I think, with Jeff on. And certainly, John, you can give him some aggro. So jockey markets, anybody, if you know, then let us know. So that's John's. That's Fishable. In the same race as Andy, we have a clash for our third bet straight away. So my third best bet of the week goes tomorrow. We don't have to wait too long. Goes in the 150, the very opener. So it's to hopefully get us all off to a flyer. It's in the Symphony Group handicap at what looks a very, very competitive sprint. It is to a degree, but I'm very, very keen on when the deal is done. Extremely keen. Will Buick, probably getting it away there with the top jockey speech. But yeah, Will Buick in the saddle. This horse is a revelation after being gelded. It's 2 from 2 at 5 furlongs. This is 5.5. This would be absolutely perfect. That late, strong burst this horse has. It's fulfilling the promise I always had of him when I saw him on debut as a 2-year-old. He's a very progressive 3-year-old. The draws bang on because all the pace is middle to stands, and as I pointed out at the start of the show, the west northwesterly that's just going to blow across tomorrow, I think will suit to the middle to stands. You've got that bit of cover because he won't lead, and I think he's really the one to be on. I cannot. In fact, that's the race as well where bookmakers are paying like 5 places, 6 places, Sky Bet 7 places, and this is where we have to take advantage because if you can get on, that is. This horse, I think, goes extremely close. I'd make him 3-1, 7-2 favourite. I'm that confident. If he gets beat, it won't be by far. Obviously, it might be down to something getting first run or not a clear run, etc. But I think he goes very close, very progressive. So when the deal is done, he's my best bet.
It was a pretty big price when the betting first opened, Lee. He was double figure prices. It was surprising to see the horse who finished behind him, Twilight Calls, who was favourite again in this race. He was behind him at Goodwood as well. And I couldn't quite work that out.
If you stop the VT about a furlong and a half out, Twilight Calls is cantering.
Oh, yeah.
And when the deal is done, he's sort of like under the pump, and you're thinking, well, Twilight Calls is going to win. Well, it didn't. It found very little. I'd be a little bit worried about Henry Candy's stable form for that because he's not flying. He's not known for many winners at York either. It's not a track he targets. And I don't think that horse is in great fettle at the moment. I think it's got a lot of ability, and I'm not saying it won't fulfil that potential everyone believes it has, and probably the trainer believes it has. But I don't think tomorrow's the day. And like you say, if you watch Goodwood, geez, I mean, it's powering clear at the line, the winner.
Yeah.
And that extra half furlong, I think, is going to be right up its street. It should be clear 7-2 market leader. That'd be my price. And I think 15-2, 7-1, 8-1 at the minute, whatever it is, with the each way terms is tremendous. So hopefully that'll get us get the BARSTEWARDS picnic off to a flyer.
That'll get the pork pie flying, won't it?
Absolutely, pork pie's in the air after that one.
I would say that 7 of the last 12 runnings of that particular race have gone to Yorkshire-based trainers. So might be if you are backing 1 or 2 in the race, it might be worth keeping one of the locals on side as well.
Yeah, well, we know the Easterbees love things like this, and Midgeleys. Oh, somebody asked a question about Ostilio because we put up Ostilio in the Stewards Cup. I'm a bit concerned at the track for this. It's a fast 5.5, and I don't know. I wouldn't put anyone off Ostilio at big prices because I don't want to look a fool after we tipped it.
There's a problem with this, and the problem really is Luke Morris.
Yeah,
because he rode the lugs off this at Goodwood, and this thing wants leaving alone early on.
Yeah,
that's the problem. If he thinks he has to lay up because this horse has shown form over 7, etc., and he's got to use its stamina, that will get it beat time and time again at sprint trips. He's got to start and leave this alone. If we had owners' badges tomorrow and that we could see Midge before the race, I'd get right into his ribs over this horse, to be honest, and beg him to get Morris to just sit and let the horse travel.
Similar to Ascot, John, where it was put to sleep and it finished well over the 5 behind significantly. That's the kind of ride you'd want for York.
Riding like an on-jigger, really, and probably ideally in the Portland.
Yeah. Where you've got I mean, again, York's just such a quick track, and we've seen how they keep rolling there. It's kind of. So I wouldn't put anyone off. It's just. I mean, I might even have a stake saver myself, just to save the pain. No one wants to see when you've been you've had a decent bet on one at a big price at Goodwood in the Stewards Cup, and then he turns up at 33s or 40 to 1 tomorrow, and you just that's happened so many times to me in my life, so it could be a saver. Right, we'll move on to our second best bets of the week, and Miss Fries first of all, and for you Jumps fans, I had someone sniffing earlier today, a good fan of the show, Franco Pino, and I think he was sniffing for an advanced tip before we released it. And he says, has Fry tipped anything up at Worcester? Well, I put him away and said no. But Fry has tipped one up at Worcester, because I said to Fry today, I said, you've got a fan club now. I get messages daily saying what is Fry fancying anything. Yeah, this is the thing. Obviously, she loves a big price, does Fry, and she's tipped her second best bet of the week in the 8 o'clock at Worcester. And I mean, this is what we love: York Week, and Fry is at Worcester for a 2 mile 7 furlong handicap hurdle, last race on the card when everyone at York's bladdered, everyone's in town falling over. But Fry is staying serious here, and she likes very much Outlaw Jack, Johnny Farrelly and Brendan Powell. What a team that is. You couldn't pick a funnier team. And Outlaw Jack went close at Newton Abbott recently, second, beaten half a length by Stanley. I think Fry loves Kevin Brogan, so I bet Fry backed it that day. Outlaw Jack.
You mentioned that Fry's got her own fan club, and there was a move actually to get her out the cellar, and they were all wearing these T-shirts saying "Free the Gloucester One," and there was rumours they were going to let Fred West out.
It made the Nationals. It probably made Daily Mirror saying, "Look, they're cheering for Fred West." Class. So Catherine Fry's second best bet of the week is Outlaw Jack, Johnny Farrelly, the trainer, Brendan Powell, the jockey. Last race at Worcester. If you're sober by then and you're still, you've got your faculties in order, that could be one to have a crack on, especially if you've had a bad day. Get you out of trouble. Outlaw Jack there for Fry in the 8 o'clock at Worcester. John, I'll come to you now for your second best bet of the week.
I'm just waiting for the groan from Andy as I pick one in. That's where the second bet is. This one is Surrey Gold in the Melrose.
Oh, we're going to have a clash then.
Some game, this, isn't it? I think one of the most important factors in the Melrose is a hold-up ride, and this is pretty much guaranteed to get the required ride. Now, he was well fancied last time at Ascot, but he lost a show. All sorts went wrong in the run. He's a lot better than that, and I think he's got a very sporting chance. I think the shagging shirt's a big danger with Winter and I, but I can say this being a value price on the back of the Ascot run, looking at first glance disappointing, but when you dig a bit deeper, he's done all right there, and I think he'll be thereabouts in this.
So what did you think went wrong at Ascot for him again?
It was just like he never looked in the right position. He was on the wrong leg turning in, and I do think a left-handed track will suit him better as well, But
yeah,
it's just niggly little things that didn't seem right. And then it was comforting to know he'd lost his show as well. I thought, well, that's one up my sleeve. I can slip a few quid on that when the time's right. And I think the time's right now. So.
Yep, off a mark of 87 for Huey. No jockey has booked as yet on the declarations. Currently 12-1. If you fancy John's second best bet of the week, that's Surrey Gold in the Melrose. Very competitive affair, that. In fact, it's a cracking race. It's probably my favourite race of the week. I've got a very big soft spot for Duchamp myself in that, but I'm not strong enough to play on the race myself. I've done a bottle job. There's a few I like in there. But John makes a good case there for Surrey Gold at 12-1 to win the Melrose. Andy, your second best bet of the week.
Right, you just mentioned it, Duchamp. I cannot not have Lydia would kill me if I didn't have a bet in the Melrose. It's her favourite race, I think, of the entire year. The Melrose. I don't know what she's going to be back in it, but Haggis won this with Hamish, didn't he? He's won it twice. Won it with Guarantee in 2012, won it with Hamish in 2019. Yeah. I don't think I can miss. I can't leave the shagging shirt out here, especially at York. I think he won at Haydock, back in April. Then he got in off, what was it, 85 when he won that race up at Musselburgh on Derby Day.
So impressive, yeah.
Missed that staying contest at Haydock when he spread a plate beforehand. I don't think he got the greatest ride when he got beaten at Ascot when First Light got first run on him. Might just want a sound surface, but I'm not particularly worried about that. I think he should be okay, even if it does rain a little bit. And he's had a nice little break, and I just think that, Mr. Haggis at York, I mean, he is. I think you were discussing him the other week, and he is right up there at the top of the tree now, isn't he? When you're talking about top trainers, you include William, don't you, in that? I mean, he is very, very good. I think he's an excellent placer of horses. There's one other one which I just mentioned. I think has got a good chance as well from another stable who's having a cracking year. Andrew Balding's Yard. He's got one in there, and he's got previous in the race as well, because he won it the last running, didn't he? With Valley Forge. I think that's got a bit of a chance somewhere as well. So I'm probably going to end up having about 3-4 stabs at this. But Dushan for Mr. Haggis would be my second best bet of the week, to go with Migration in the other tricky handicap.
Yeah, I can see why Lydia likes Melrose, because it is a real puzzle to solve, and Dushan was very costly for me at Ascot. It was a real bad day when everything went wrong that day. I think that was the day when Sylvester rode Fantastic Fox, and rode like it was just horrible. And it's kind of Dushan's was kind of close to my heart in a way, because when I watched him at Musselburgh, I just went, wow, this is just a serious horse. So yeah, I think Dushan will be on my radar, Andy, as well, to a degree. But like you say, he's kind of race where you probably need 2 or 3 covers. Yeah, it is a toughie. But yeah, I really like Dushan's profile. I would like to see good grounder better for him. I think he'd probably be better on a sounder surface. But interesting that out of the 2, Tom Marquand has chose to ride him over Wink of an Eye. So that's also, I think, very significant, I would say. I don't know if you agree, John, on that. Would you agree that's significant that Tom Marquand is on Dushan and not Wink of an Eye?
I think it'll be a tricky pick, but I can see where he's coming from picking that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. Okay, so number 2 for Andy there is Dushan in the Melrose, clashing with John. Could be some good forecasts here, chaps. We've done it before. I mean, you've done it before. This is the thing.
Could be last, second last.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, tough races to boot, but it'd be interesting if we can land a forecast or get close.
I think I looked through the whole 4. Well, I have looked through the whole 4 days and just thought every race looked tough, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean this is what makes it attractive. But you get rewarded. You get rewarded at nice odds. Unless you're back in the Blogger and Stallion bets. In fact, where is Blogger and Stallion staying this week? Anyone know? John, have they made it up from after Stallion did his birthday money in?
I think there's a house at the bottom of the car park across the road. It's got a bit of an open cellar. They'll probably be bunkering down there for the night after walking up from the station, I would think.
Yeah. Do you know, I'm not mentioning any names, but I had a message the other day. It's crazy the messages you do get on the Barstewards Twitter. Said, are they a couple?
A couple of pricks, yeah.
I said, well, I don't know. I have no idea. It's just, but yeah. So yeah,
I hope to come over and have a drink on Thursday.
I hope. Yeah. I mean, if Blogger Blogger listens to this, absolutely welcome. Yeah. So my second best bet of the week goes on Friday and in the Sky Bet Mile. And again, it's disappointing that we've got no prices, but I think this is a race that we should take note of because the horse in question, I think both of you were quite positive about this when it actually won at headquarters on the 10th of July. It was a short price. Royal Fleet was very green. Still, I think that's the thing. It's amazing. The horse is 3 from 3, and I think the horse is still mentally not there. It's not the finished article, and I think that's why they've gone novice race, handicap, and again handicap. I think they think this is a stakes horse. And in fact, I'm told reliably that the yard think this is a total stakes horse. And I suppose you've got to be to win a handicap at York off a mark of 100. You've got to be listed class. And I think I genuinely think the horse is. Like I say, he's got some growing up to do. The way he did hang at Newmarket for his last win, but he's still got the job done. He's got a lot of ability, and I do feel Royal Fleet is the one to be on to decent. But again, it's hard to know without the prices. Check the Bar Stewards Twitter for any feedback from all of us this week regarding prices on some of our selections, because like Andy says, Andy's got a few other things he likes in the Melrose. So just check back. We might have some updates for you on the Twitter feed. And same with me. Like I'm tipping Royal Fleet. Well, if it's 5-2. Or it's 9-4 in a big field handicap, I might not be so keen. So it's one of them. But Royal Fleet is very much one I want to back. But something else in this race for you guys. Grant Chewer's horse here, King Triton. Ed Ware has sent him a horse, £100,000 from the sales. Haley Turner's booked off 8 stone 2. Obviously, he needed a lightweight jockey. Look at the Thirsk form. It beat a horse called Motawar Jed at Thirsk when trained by Roger Varian. Motawar Jed has since beat Royal Pleasure off a mark of 90 and beat Dance Fever, which is a very, very, very solid handicap horse, off 95 on Saturday. So that Motawar Jed is on 97, at the moment. King Triton beat this at Thirsk on the 15th of June. Well, King Triton's off 85. That could be seriously well in. I did ask Grant the question. Grant is a trainer that keeps things close to his chest. He protects prices for his. Obviously, I've got horses with Grant, and he won't say too much, but he's. I get the feeling he's quite hopeful for this. So King Triton at a low weight is something that could, and you've seen the form Grant Chewer's in this year. It's just ridiculous. And so King Triton, I mean, £100,000. You're not paying £100,000 for a horse that can't win off 85. Obviously, it's a York handicap, and you could be £10 better than your mark and finish 6th. In a race like this. That's how it is. But I'm presuming that King Triton might be a biggish old price or a reasonable price. So that's something also to keep your eye on in that Sky Bet Mile. So I'll do like Royal Fleet. It's a class act, but watch out for Grand Chewer's King Triton. Ginger Hitler's been on, and the Ginger Hitler. We need him back on the show really, because his misery kind of, it's kind of what the show's about. We always complain on the show and moan, and Ginger Hitler's misery kind of just, it epitomates what the show's about. And the Ginger Hitler's been on, and his big nap is in the Ebor on Saturday. And he's very, very keen, very, very keen on Ilarab in the Ebor. That's the Ginger Hitler's big each way nap. He says, get on. will run a massive race. 14-1 available for the shagging shirt. Big week for the shagging shirt. So that's the Ginger Hitler chiming in with his selection for you folks. Before we move on to the top selection of the week, also our Sunday sermon contributor, Lorne Malvo, has been on, and he likes Golden Pal in the Nunthorpe. He says it just wins, which I can probably agree with if the ground's not sloppy. If it's probably quick ground, I could probably see why he likes that, but maybe a watching brief on the ground. Right, we move on to our very, 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 very best bets of the week, and Catherine Fry. We're back to our fair Irish maiden, and that's where exactly she's gone for her nap of the week, folks. She's gone to Killarney. She just loves the game, loves the sport, and the 7:15 race at Killarney is Catherine Fry's nap of the week, and it is the Tony Martin train. Siobhan Rutledge ridden Nibiru. That horse, you've got to laugh at the SPs. I mean, I love Fry and what she thought. I mean, the SPs of its recent runs are 50s, 40s, 28s, 11s, 40s. Last time out at Galway, 4-1. So it kind of know where you're at with Nibiru, or kind of explains the whole scenario. But Nibiru is in a flat race. It's over 1 mile and 6 furlongs. It's a Premier handicap, and Fry believes this has been absolutely prime for this. And she obviously loves the jockey, Siobhan Rutledge. Leng loves the jockey, Siobhan Rutledge. John thinks Siobhan's well worth her 7, and I totally agree. I think Siobhan Rutledge is an absolute talent. So an interesting spot from Fry there. That's her best bet of the week. So that's Nibiru in the 7:15 at Killarney on the Thursday. Again, if you've got your faculties after you're not gin and pated up. In fact, me and John will be. I think at that time, 7:15 on a Thursday, it'd be testing times. But yeah, if you like that sort of thing, Killarney, Catherine Fry's best bet of the week there is Nibiru. Andy, I'm going to come to you now for your champion bet of the week.
I can't resist a bit of shagging shirt in the Ebor.
Ooh.
And it's not Illarab.
Ooh. So you're clashing with the Hitler?
Yeah. I probably would as well, but like everybody does.
You actually would, yeah, you would.
Has the Ginger Hitler actually got a first name?
Yeah, it's Christopher, which is strange because I've always thought it'd be some kind of German name because his behaviour. His behaviour is disgraceful.
I just thought it might be Adolf or something.
Yeah. He's not someone. John will tell you.
It sounds entertaining on the golf course.
He might be called Christopher, but he looks like an Heinrich.
Right, fair enough. Right, well, I'm going to go, again, I've got sort of a bit of an undercard here, and I think something might pop out from Ireland and win this because they've won it 6 times since 2001, and there's a few lurkers in here. But I'm going to go with Hamish for the shagging shirt for Mr. Haggis.
Wow.
Won the Melrose 2019 off 92. It's now rated 108. I know it hasn't been out for a while. But I got a feeling this might just have been the plan with our Hamish. There's been a few nibbles around for it over the last few days. I say the form just went forward and forward. I do like. I've always liked the horse, and he won that Melrose in good style as well. He loves the tester. He won straight after. He won another handicap going back there, didn't he? The same year, and he's run Trushan to a neck of levels at Newbury on heavy ground. That would mark him out as well handicapped. Haggis is a master at bringing horses back from a fair old time off. He ran to a pretty good rating. What was it? He had a long break after Royal Ascot last year. Got a feeling this might have been the plan. My undercard, if I'm allowed for that, is Mr. Murta, who won this back in 2014 with Mutual Regard. who he took over from Prescott. And you don't get too many people winning all races with horses they take over from him. But went 2 from 4 after that. Miran, I thought he got a shocking ride at Royal Ascot. Then ran 4th last time over in Ireland, over a trip that was too short for him. He's also got Sonny Boy Liston in there as well. So I'll probably be having a little go at Murhan as well, but Hamish would be the first choice. Although Mr. Spencer is on Murhan, and I'll probably be at sort of Saturday afternoon thinking, why the hell did I do that? You can never write Mullins off in this either. Saldier is really interesting, along with a rather dark one called Mount Leinster, which nobody's really spoken about. The horse I would have loved to have seen running this was MC Muldoon, but I don't think he's going to get in. But if you can get an early price anywhere for the Cesarewitch on that, I shall be lumping on MC Muldoon for the Master of Close Sutton back when we get to the Newmarket Marathon in October. MC Muldoon, you heard it here first, because he's won the last 3 run-ins and he could be winning it for the 4th in a row.
Good stuff. I mean, well, yeah, that is. I mean, MC Muldoon, we all thought that was quite unlucky. Ascot,
still think he makes a nice hurdler as well. Yeah, kind of Galway over hurdles, isn't he? But to me, it's got Cesarewitch written right through it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, going to your selection, Andy Hamish. I think it's very interesting. Obviously, he's you know, the mother Tweed was just fantastic. Obviously, she needed a lot of give in the ground, but she was a real good staying handicapper. She was, you know, I like the family line. I like the fact that the shagging shirt has come straight here. Like there's no sign. We don't want no preps. We don't, you know.
There's no mucking around here.
Yeah.
I mean, one little stat, if you're interested in this, is apprentice jockeys have ridden 4 of the last 10 winners, and 3 of the last 7 actually went to a £5 claimer. So if you are thinking of backing a claimer, just don't let it put you off either, and don't let a wide draw put you off either, because horses 14 or lower, they're 4 from 120 in the last decade. And in the last decade, 15 or higher are 6 from 73. So I just wouldn't let the draw put you off too much. Some people don't like a wide draw, but I won't be worried where Hamish is. But I do think he's a very talented horse. I don't know what the problem has been with him, but as I say, he's run well up a break before. And if Haggis can pull the Melrose and the Ebor double off on Saturday, I probably won't be around for the next week. I might be going on holiday again.
Yeah, too right. I mean, you make a very, very, very good case. So Hamish for Andy and Willie Haggis. Like I said, Hamish, he's a very good horse. It'd be interesting to see what order the shagging shirt's got him in. Illarab as well, a very strong hand. The Ginger Hitler's pawn for the race. Yeah, I mean, I can see both. I can see it. You know, I love Haggis the trainer, and I think unless
Roberto Escobar as well.
Well, I mean, this is it. I mean, this is John's like all season. You know, me and John put Roberto Escobar as a bar steward special.
To be fair, that one would probably benefit if they don't go like Stink, because that'll be ridden handy where the other two will be dropped out.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cracking race, but I do think Haggis has got the main hand, unless Willie's put the jungle juice in for some of his, and then you know, then we're all, you know, and then it could be Ireland, you know, Ireland have just, you know, demolished the big handicap again like they do Cheltenham. I mean, we don't know. A great race.
So they had a pretty good record in the race. I mean, they've won it 6 times. I didn't go back and work out the representation, but I don't think they've had that many runners in it.
Yeah,
they've done pretty well, and that's why I sort of I should be including Mr. Murta somewhere along the way there on Saturday as well.
Yeah, with the was it Miran or Sonny Boy?
Miran. That's the one I'm really after. Yeah.
Yeah, with JP Spencer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There At least it's not a Simcock horse, eh?
No, poor Simcock. I mean, it's just, geez. I mean, I don't know what's gone off with his operation, but why on earth you just drop everything out of the telly? He's losing owners as well, right, left, and centre. There's no wonder why, John.
Has he got anything in the Ebor, or is it the fact that it's a hold-up race put him off? Does he just want to win anything against him or what?
My only thought on Simcock was so we wouldn't want to be getting a drink off him because he'd probably get held up on the way to the bar.
Absolutely.
Well, he's got Rodrigo Diaz in, but obviously he knows he's not going to get in. Number 47 that ran a blinder behind Hookham in the Jeffrey Freer, finished second, and as I said, he frustrates the life out of me because I think he's had good horses, and I think why he yelled. I just can't. We wanted him on the show. We said, "Come, explain your tactic. Explain why you drop everything out the back of the telly. What's all that about?" Anyway, we move on. So Hamish for Andy in the Ebor. John. In fact, no, I'll come to me first. I'll let you finish the number one bets off, John. So I'll give my number one bet. Goes on the Thursday in the Galtrees or Galtrees stakes. I had a runner in this one, Citral. She was 66-1, ridden by D'Souza and tailed off. No, we told it up and behave. But no, she was outclassed. So the Galtrees, I've got a very strong bet in this, and this is going to get some of the treatment. A filly of Rafe and Ralph Beckett's, the fabulous duo this year. They've had a decent year so far. Abstinence, ridden by the train driver, is priced up by one firm, William Hills, I believe, at 9-1. That is just absolutely hilarious. I make this about a 5-2, 11-4 chance. She's a filly massively on the up. She's got so much more to offer. She ran over a mile at Chelmsford where she beat a stout horse called Mashur, who's rated about 87. But the ground she gave was like how she's come, where she's come from, no one knows. So she did very well. Then she went to Newcastle and ran fourth behind Zayadar and Technique and Oriental Mystique. The form's there for itself. Zayadar was second in Nassau. Technique just got touched off at Salisbury the other day. I thought very unlucky, actually. I was surprised he got touched off, but ran very well. The form for me is absolutely solid. Abstinence then stepped up to 1.5 miles last time, where they absolutely crawled. Golden Pass had the easiest lead ever. Nothing got in it. Abstinence was sat stone last under the train driver. He basically didn't move until about sort of 2.5 out, and the ground she made up in the closing stage was most eye-catching. And bearing in mind, she beat Oriental Mystique that day, had Eileen Dover behind her. Well, Eileen Dover absolutely blew in on Saturday off 92 in a handicap. Well, she had that 4 lengths beat, giving it start. This filly is probably, I would say, in a well-run Galtrees, which I think you'll probably get with the Johnson horse. I don't think they'll crawl in this. They never tend to do. You need a good stayer to win a Galtrees, and I think this filly is probably capable of somewhere between 105 and 110 when things go right. And this is not a strong Galtrees. I'd have a strong favourite. The rating of Dermot Wells' horse Hammer Grace of 105, they put him 4-1. I think that's false, to be honest. I don't really think she's that. She's all that at the moment, and I'm very confident Abstinence will win the Galtrees. And 9-1 is just absolutely huge, and it's gonna get some absolute hammer. If we can get on, that's the 4:45 race on Thursday. That's my best bet of the week. John.
Hello.
Your best bet of the week, please.
My best bet of the week runs in the last race tomorrow. This is a horse we've discussed at length, as you know.
Oh, yes.
And this horse is Papa Cocktail of Tom Clover's. Made its debut in what I think would probably turn out to be probably the best maiden of the season at Yarmouth, believe it or not, behind a horse called Reach for the Moon that went on to run the Aidan horse quite close in the Chesham at Ascot. And the winner that day was New Science of Charlie Appleby's. And I mean, really, them three looked a class apart, you know. New Science is now rated 91. I gave him 88 for that race, and Papa Cocktail came out about 83. Then the really impressive run was the next one in a small field at Haydock on good to firm ground, where he showed tremendous bottle to go through a small gap. And I think you put him up that day, didn't you?
In the superlative, yeah.
In the superlative, his third run, you'd actually put him up as a bet. And actually, up to a point, I was quite taken with this horse, really. I thought he travelled lovely. But once they got the proper undulations, he fell apart. And, he's finished 8th there and beaten 6 wickets, you know. But the beauty of this is a 100 horse. There's no question in my mind that this horse is capable of running to 100. I know you're concerned about the drop-in trip. I think a 100 horse running off 83 over 6 will travel all over these. I really do. I think he's in the ideal box as well. He'll get a nice toe into the race. Bosch is drawn 15. He can track him, and he will eat Bosch in receipt of thick end of £10. I think he's getting. I have no concerns about him beating Bosch whatsoever. Bosch is 9-2. This boy's 16-1. I have availed myself of 16-1 just prior to recording this podcast. And
I think it's a tremendous case because, like I said, I was quite. I had a sizable bet each way in the superlative, and it was quite a funny run race because they seemed to quicken it up. And you said it did come down the dip. They seemed to quicken it up, and it seemed to be found wanting. Prior to that, obviously, the reason I put it up was I was so impressed by the horse wanting to take that gap up a very tight rail at Haydock to squeeze through, and when it's race, I thought I love the constitution of the horse to do that.
In Osley, the last thing he wanted was Newmarket, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I take your word for him. Yeah.
He'll move like an immaculate machine, as someone once said about a horse tomorrow.
Yeah, you look that. Yeah, obviously, I was attracted by the Yarmouth Maiden, how well he went there, and obviously that's very strong form. And in fact,
isn't it?
And when you look at it, John, he's only been given 83, which is basically what he ran to roughly on debut. So how can he not have, like you say? You brought me around. I will be back in it. But yeah, I just felt that the horse might want further, but no, you know. The interesting thing, and I said to you when we had this debate, offline, was that they could have run in the 7 furlong nursery, later this week, and they didn't even enter, as if they decided no, it wants 6, or it'll be fine.
It's not class this boy. He'll travel. I'm telling you.
Yeah. No, interesting. Real good nap. 14-1 Papa Cocktail for John Joe as his best bet of the week, and the pork pies will be in the air again if we manage to land that one tomorrow. We're there live in the middle. As I say, chaps, if any of you want to give us a buzz and meet up, we're in the Clock Tower enclosure. We've got a massive picnic. Come and say hello, whatever. I'm sure there'll be some food left. We can't eat it all.
Have a sausage roll. Have a Greg's sausage roll.
I've emptied Marks and Spencer's this morning, and it's just, that's it.
You can save me some for Thursday then.
Yeah,
save me a sausage roll for Thursday, will you?
Oh, so you don't want to pay York's price? It's a waste of time. I mean, we're already paying, £50-60 for a bottle of £25 Champers. We don't want to be paying £5 when we get sausage. Yeah.
Are you taking your own gin as well?
I've done it before, but I'm not going to embarrass myself anymore. But I've done it before when I've had the Buxton Spring bottle, full of gin. So if you ever search or they say, "Oh, what's this?" or whatever, it's just water. Look, water.
Water.
But no, it's just yeah.
The best bit is, Andy, when he takes a bloody good swig out of it to prove it's just water. And then about a third of the bottle.
Right, to finish the show off, we've given our best bets and we've given our all. We've given our wares. The tide's going out. We're in our speedos. We've given it all. We've given all our bests. But I mean, guys, for this week, in the better races, so we'll look at the Juddamont tomorrow. I mean, what's everyone's thoughts on the Juddamont? Who wants to start me off?
I'll start you off. I think it's a mess.
Yeah.
Where's the pace?
Yeah.
It could be a bit sticky, this. I've looked long and hard at it, and I can't really see much of an angle with anything without pace being on. I think it's a plain running race if you're going to play it. Yeah, no, that's
very good point, John. Yeah. I mean, I didn't think alcohol free would stay, but it's one of them. If who's going to go on? I know it's weird.
I'm surprised Haggis hasn't run a pacemaker in it with Liam Jones on it. No, that's not a bad idea, isn't it?
With Liam Jones on, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with John. It looks a bit of a mess, doesn't it? Mishriff could outclass them, but I wouldn't be backing it at that price. Love, as I say, I wouldn't back anything like that at the moment. Jolly Jim McSwinney was a bit of a flyer, but you don't play, do you?
No, McSwinney needs it like a bog, but McSwinney will probably go on. Jim loves a leader, and I could see McSwinney going on. There's no point McSwinney taking a pull. So I would think McSwinney goes on, and it's the rest deciding what they're going to do. It's interesting race, but not a betting race. That's the Gin and Pate race.
In the 2 mile handicap.
That's the Gin Pate and the Stilton Pork Pie topper tomorrow. That's the one where we get that out tomorrow, and we're not bothered. I don't think, unless we're playing on the phones for the 101s. Yeah, but there you go. So yeah, I agree with you, chaps. It's a bit of a minefield. Right, Thursday then we've got the Yorkshire Oaks. I mean, there's absolutely no way we can see Snowfall beaten, can we? Don't think.
Not really. Not right.
Dependent, isn't it? Really, I mean, that good horse from the Hardwick might run if it pissed down.
Yeah, to be honest. I think that's what everyone should wish for, really. An absolute bog, because then Snowfall wonderful tonight. It makes it actually a fascinating race. Other than that, I think we're all struggling to get excited about that, aren't we? Really?
Yorkshire Oaks, really, isn't it? It's the shit.
Yeah. So the other Group 1 of the week is the final Group 1 of the week is on the Friday, which is obviously the Nunthorpe. Obviously our down south contributor has tipped Golden Pal 5-2. Suez is 11-4. Have we any thoughts on the Nunthorpe? Anything interesting?
I just don't want Wes to win it, really.
No.
They'll make such a fuss of him, won't they?
Yeah, I mean I've always found that odd, and like John Hines, who I really like, he's a good Twitter poster, and he always says he doesn't understand the fuss over Wesley Ward. Well, why is this country? I don't get it. There's lots of international trainers that's had runners here before, and they don't get any fuss like Wesley Ward gets. Can we explain that?
No. I'd rather see Winter Power or Dragon Symbol win it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would as well.
I'd rather see.
I'd love to see Winter Power win it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the French horse, she was mighty impressive at Goodwood when she won, but York's different. I mean, we've seen it so many times where York, they just keep rolling. You know, it's like that song, keep rolling. They just, once they get going on that front end.
If she picks the pace up, she's bloody good.
Well, yeah, I'd never think York was a track. I just never did, never would.
If she wins this, she's a bloody good sprinter.
Yeah. It's again, it's another pate race where it's probably interesting to watch. And if rain comes, then Wesley Ward's is probably goose, really. You know, if we get any kind of drizzle, I'd like to think that Wesley Ward's will get beat. But there we go. Right, have we anything else to add on the week? Anything that you have missed or didn't make your best three bets but you'd like to mention, John or Andy?
I'll let John go first if there's anything John would like to mention.
If there is soft in the going description come Saturday, my long-range Ebor player, Max Vega, will very much come into this. I think it's been targeted at the race. The running, is it the Silver Cup or something they call it? At the meeting where Hookham won the race, didn't it? Yeah, very quiet ride. Nothing made any ground up really from where he was. That thing Ollie Doyle Road kept on even, didn't it? Wasn't knocked about. Absolute sighter for me. Down in the ratings compared to its 3-year-old days, so it's possibly one of few that could be classed as well treated in the Ebor. And it does need to be making a print though, but if it does, I'll certainly be playing at 40s.
That's interesting. It's an interesting shout, John. You get the feeling it's been trained for it. I mean, Peter Crouch is already booked, and it was second to Hookham last year. In the Jeffrey Freer, and this year it's just basically had a float up on the ground. Yeah, it was a float up. So I mean it's interesting. Like I said, down to 106. It's probably a mark it could win off. It's definitely better than that. So that's at 40 to 1. Yeah, keep your eye on that, folks. If the rain comes, get ready for Max Vega in the Ebor, perhaps. Interesting. Andy, anything you'd like to add?
I've got one complete stab in the dark in John's race with is it Papa Cocktail in tomorrow?
The nursery.
It's got a bit of history in this race. Mr. Fahy, who doesn't seem to have many runners the first couple of days. Final Account, which he's won this race 3 times before, twice with apprentices on board. He's got a £7 claimer on, who I haven't seen ride an awful lot, but it's never been a race for particularly. Only one of the winners has carried 9 stone 2+, although there's not that many tomorrow. I just thought he hasn't got that many runners there, and I just thought Final Account.
Yeah, it looks a bit spotty, doesn't it?
Yeah, might just be a little bit, you know. I mean, he's 40. Well, there's a massive gap on. I've got the machine in front of me. 46 to 80. You might want to shove a couple of quid up at 70, 75, maybe even longer. And just one of those, or the each way places, each way a pleasure. You know, someone betting down to 70 might scrape in. It's handicap debut. As I say, he's won it with apprentices on board before. Won it 3 times before. Just one of those races where you wouldn't, whilst, I certainly should be backing Papa Cocktail after John's eulogy on it. But that sort of looked interesting. The 2 mile handicap on tomorrow. Certainly look at that. My old favourite Elysian Flame. I should probably follow him over the cliff once more after he nearly did the business at York last time out. I thought Bodyline was quite interesting. I just wonder whether that might be the Prescott Cesarewicz horse this year. He looks quite interested in that. And there's one at a massive price in the Dan Gilbert colours, Torcello. That is a massive price on that. I certainly wouldn't be. There's 50s here on the machine at the moment. I certainly wouldn't be laying that. I can tell you that now. That's quite interesting. Spencer's on the favourite, Arcadian Sunrise. And one in the Phillies handicap tomorrow, Tenaya Canyon. Thought they did well to win last time out at Doncaster when they changed the tactics on it. Ed Walker, who's got quite a decent collection of sprinters at the moment. That'll be it for tomorrow. Later in the week, there wasn't an awful lot that sprang out of me. Like the Group 1s were just races I sort of basically really wanted to watch. I thought that the last race on the Friday is interesting. You probably. And the Phillies handicap, the 440 on the Friday, declared interest again for Rafe or Ralph was interesting. And if I did pick a couple on the undercard in the Melrose, Tashkan was certainly one of them. And whilst we've been on here, Mr. Stewart has had another winner. So he's certainly in good form this year.
It's an
not sure where the track's gone to now, but he's certainly in good form. So the Triton might be another winner for him.
Yeah, it could be an interesting one against. Obviously, I'm picking Royal Fleet, but yeah, it could be interesting against it. I certainly won't be losing on it. So anyway,
no.
So great podcast, guys. Like I say, if you want to catch us at York, myself, John, and Andy in the main enclosure there on the Thursday, and we're there. Me and John are there on the Wednesday in the Clock Tower. Watching the world go by. So if you want to join us, feel free. Get in touch. Don't forget to miss Friday's show. We've got Catherine Fry on the show with a very, very special guest, and it might be a show you don't want to miss. So hopefully we'll get that guest to turn up. It'll all be good. We hope you have a fantastic week at York. Like we will, win or lose, preferably win. But if we lose, that's the way it is. So be lucky, and we'll speak again on Friday. Bye for now.